Hello and welcome back to Football by the Numbers. As promised, we got you guys a logo, we got you guys an intro, and after this video, make sure to stick around for our awesome outro. You are welcome. I finally got it, and I got it for my best friend who is joining me today, Andrew. Andrew, how are you doing? You look like you're in a new place. Did you move?
I did move. I just got into a brand new place. Yesterday, I moved in officially, and I spent my first night ever with one of my besties. But unfortunately, he can't join us.
Not tonight, but I'm sure he'll join us on another night.
Well, maybe we will get him to talk some soccer here in a few weeks or so.
Hopefully. Madison, you're on alert.
We need our buddy Will back. You know, he's spending way too much time on this honeymoon. I don't get it.
I know, it's a crazy thing that wives demand these long and luxurious vacations over in fancy countries like Italy. But speaking of Italy and European vacations, let's talk about the Champions League. So the Champions League draw has already been accomplished. We have our 8 groups of teams. Let's first break down group by group who we think the top 2 are going to be to go on in the Champions League, who the third place team is going to be to qualify for the Europa League, and then who's going to drop out. So let's start with Group A, which ironically is the group of death. Group A consists of Manchester City, PSG, RB Leipzig, and Club Brugge. So the group where all of the ultras are going to just be wilding out. Everybody hates these clubs. Manchester City and PSG, of course, the oil moguls who are going to just use their money and influence and try and bully their way through. RB Leipzig, of course, another giant financially, being a Pepsi drink brand as their main sponsor.
I'm so glad you got that jersey.
It is a nice jersey. I can't wait to just literally use it exclusively for sweating in. And then Club Brugge, of course, rounds that out. So, Andrew, how do we think this group is going to play out? This could be an interesting group.
I feel like it's the Blue Bloods plus red. It doesn't even make sense. They should have just completed the circle and put Porto or something in there that has blue. RB, I guess they're helpful because they got that blue jersey behind you. You're not going to know who's actually playing, but honestly, I think PSG is going to win the group stage because MN is back together. Messi and Neymar, I just can't freaking wait to see them play together again. I loved them at Barcelona. Of course, my boy Kevin De Bruyne is over there in Man City. I think those two are going to kind of round out the top. I think there could be some upsets, though. I'm just not sure if they have enough power to knock down both Man City and PSG. Ultimately, I'm going to go with PSG's winning the group stage there.
Okay, and who do you have in third qualifying for the Europa League?
RB. They have don't they have, is that Brendan Aronson or is he on Salzburg?
Brendan Aronson is on RB Salzburg. Caden Clark is on.
Clark, my boy Clark is over there at Leipzig.
He got his shout out this episode.
Yes,
we managed to work
finally
him in
did.
somehow.
There we go.
Every episode. Once again, this is Football by the Numbers, aka the Caden Clark fan channel. In case you haven't noticed, we've managed to work him into the last 10 episodes that we've had. So go back and check those out. It'll be like a Where's Waldo game. Where's the Caden Clark reference?
Where's Caden Clark? Now, John, who do you think is going to win the group stage?
I think Manchester City. Manchester City has a ton of quality through and through. The only real thing that they're missing is an out-and-out number 9 striker, which you could argue PSG kind of is as well. Mbappe's plays better off the left. He can score goals, and I mean, if you look at his goal-scoring record for PSG, he definitely has scored goals. Icardi can be that number 9, but he and Messi don't mesh
He's
well.
more of a false 9 than he is truly a 9. It's not like having a Lukaku or a Zlatan or a Ronaldo, somebody that's going to literally hold the ball. They're both kind of going that creative route. We've seen it time and time again. I mean, sometimes Man City doesn't even play with a number 9.
Right. They played with Phil Foden a lot last year at that number 9 role, which is why I think they'll take the group. Manchester City has the better midfield and has more experience combining that midfield with the attack and doesn't get the ball caught too far forward with no midfield support like Paris did. But Paris did make a bunch of excellent and shrewd signings this year. I just don't think Mauricio Pochettino is the manager to do it. I think you need a truly elite manager, and I think he did some amazing things with Tottenham, but he never came home with the gold.
On top of it, though, PSG has finished more than Man City has in its time in the Champions League. Theoretically, PSG's won the most recent out of the two.
Pep has a way of tinkering. I haven't gotten to the winner of the whole Champions League yet. Pep usually does pretty well.
We already know your winner. You don't even have to say it, and I don't want to hear it. I do
know my winner, as you know your winner. But let's move on here to Group B. So Group B consists of Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, FC Porto, and AC Milan.
I'm telling you, RB and Porto should have switched. It would have been red versus blue. Like, what are we doing here? Come on, Champions League.
Who do you think's going to top that group?
It's tough. Liverpool has not looked as strong as I would hope. They had kind of a little bit of a I just don't feel like they looked super strong compared to what I'm expecting out of Athletic Madrid, especially getting Griezmann back. With Griezmann and Suarez, it could be a whole different kind of power, and I feel like Athletic Madrid loves to play that underdog. Ultimately, Liverpool is going to end up winning. And I think Atletico Madrid's going to be second with Milan in third. But Porto could play some really harsh role here and knock somebody out.
That's going to be another interesting group that we see. I agree with you. I think Liverpool's going to win out the group, but it's going to be tough between those top two, with Atletico Madrid being in second, because they do still have Joao Felix, they do still have Luis Suarez, and now they have Griezmann back. They did lose Saul Niguez to, of course, Chelsea. I still think that they're going to finish top two, but Porto could still pull some points off of some people. They did almost beat Chelsea in that Champions League tie. Was it the quarterfinals that you guys played them? They do have the ability to pull out points. I would love to see AC Milan in the Europa League or even further in the Champions League. With the loss of Calhanoglu to Inter Milan and Donnarumma to PSG, who interestingly enough is not hardly getting any playing time because Keylor Navas is the favorite. It'll be interesting to see how many points are taken off. I have Porto in third and AC Milan going fourth. As much as I love AC Milan and I would love them to return to their former glory, I don't see it happen.
You never know about Zlatan, though. Don't count Zlatan out.
Next up is one of the more interesting groups here. I know I use that word interesting a lot, but Group C, consisting of Sporting CP, of course, the winners of the Portuguese league last year, Borussia Dortmund, Ajax in the Eredivisie, and Besiktas. I believe Ajax and Besiktas both won their leagues last year, Dortmund being the odd one out who hadn't won their league. Who do you think tops this group?
I want to hear you go first.
I think Dortmund tops this group, even though they were pulled from Pot 2 and are the only ones that weren't champions of these groups. I think they have a very strong manager in Marco Rose. Their ability to retain Erling Haaland, at least until next year, is huge and critical for their success. Daniel Malin, I think, is a good signing to be brought in as kind of a substitute for Erling Haaland. He can play out on the right creatively. We discussed this in a video of our Bundesliga preview, so go check that out. So I think they finish first with Ajax in second.
The one thing I'm worried about Dortmund is the fact that they lost Sancho, and that's a pretty big playmaker / offensive threat that their offense runs through.
Yes, you are correct. They did lose him. I believe last year through injury, he only played about 24, 25 games and had 8 goals and 11 assists. So he was a very big creative force. Erling Haaland, though, doesn't really need too much creativity. That dude just scores at will. Jude Bellingham as well. If you watched the Super Cup, again, we recapped that in our Bundesliga preview. Go check that out. But Jude Bellingham is a critical component of that midfield. If they had lost Bellingham and Sancho, that team would be in a lot more dire straits. They still do have Marco Reus. They still have Torgan Hazard. They still have Rafael Guerrero. They still have Mats Hummels. So they do have a solid foundation there. Sancho, yes, he's a big loss. Is it the end of the world? Not in the slightest. I would love to see Dortmund challenge for, they do have some Champions League pedigree. not making it to the finals since Bayern beat them the last time they won the treble, or the time before last that they won the treble. I think it'll play out that Dortmund wins. Ajax in second. I think Erik ten Hag has a lot of talent there. He was a Bayern coach as well. I have to have a little bias towards him. Sporting, I think, comes in third, and Besiktas, they might pull a couple of points off some teams. What about you?
So we have about the exact same setup. I think Sporting comes into third just simply because I think they have a little bit more experience under their belt. Ultimately, I think Dortmund's going to run away with the group, and then kind of everybody else falls behind with Ajax, and then I think Sporting comes into third.
Although Sporting does have some good young talent up and coming. I believe they have a central midfielder who plays for Portugal. I can't remember his name at the moment, but they also have Jolson Fernandez. But let's move on to Group D. Group D may sound familiar. It may sound like an echo of last year, and that's because it pretty much is with the fourth pot team.
It's rigged.
It is kind of rigged, but it's the fourth pot team is the only difference. We have Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Shakhtar Donetsk, and Sheriff Tiraspol, which is the first Moldovan club to ever make it to a Champions League. So let's hear your predictions, Andrew.
They're automatically in fourth for me. To get anywhere into the Champions League, as amazing as it is for the first time, it's going to take a few tries to probably get out of fourth place in a group stage, especially when you're going up against juggernauts like Real Madrid and then Inter Milan. I mean, those two clubs have more experience than that club probably has at winning. In Real Madrid, I always want to count them out. I don't get how they do it. They always seem to find a way to win games and get somewhere out of the group stages. Ronaldo left, and we're like, oh, they're going to be trash. And then all of a sudden, they get out of the group stages.
If any club has Champions League pedigree, it is Real Madrid. And even though last year they lost to Shakhtar Donetsk twice, one time with Donetsk, I think literally only having 13 players because everybody else had COVID, they still lost to that team.
But it was in a neutral site in a third division team stadium, I believe. So there wasn't true atmosphere, which is what some of these teams feed on. You know, you can see this in all kinds of sports. I mean, all over the U.S. and Europe. In any league you look at, you take away the fans, the sport changed.
So do you have Real Madrid winning the group?
Yes, but I'm hopeful that Inter Milan wins.
I have Real Madrid winning the group as well. I think their roster is just too thick. I know they're kind of struggling for consistency, but they still are tied for first. I believe it's like a 6 or 7 way tie for first as far as points go in La Liga. And as far as goal difference is concerned, I believe it is a 3 or 4 way tie. Real Madrid ahead only because they've scored more goals, I believe. But Real Madrid is still kind of struggling for consistency. Carlo Ancelotti, the mercenary, going in and kind of fixing them up after Zidane left again. Inter Milan, I think, finished second. I think they don't finish first because of 2 big losses. Number 1 being Antonio Conte, their manager. Inzaghi seems to be holding his own. The loss of Conte is a pretty big loss considering, look what he did at Chelsea. And then their bigger loss is Romelu Lukaku. He was
huge loss.
Incredible for them last year.
Hoping he can do the same for Chelsea. Hoping he can. He's already got 2 goals. For Belgium, I mean, his scoring is off the roof right now. He just is full form, and I'm so excited to see what he can do this year. But ultimately, yes, Real Madrid's going to win the league. I think Inter Milan comes second. I think the bottom feeders are going to kind of...
I don't think Sheriff makes another appearance in the Champions League for a long time, but I'm sure this money that they're going to earn from just being in the Champions League is going to feel oh so good that it... Moving on to Group E, my favorite group, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Benfica, and Kiev, Dynamo Kiev. This group, I think the bottom 2 or 3 could be very different to what we might think. But I want to hear what you think first.
As much as it pains me to say this, and I wish I had soap right here, I think Bayern wins the group.
I agree. I think Bayern...
I need a cry break, okay? I need a cry break.
Bayern, I mean, I could talk about Bayern all day.
Shut up. Nobody wants to hear about it.
I need to make us another...
Ansu Fati is the next Messi.
No, he's not. He's
I'm
very
hoping.
talented. He's very talented, as is Trincao, who's on loan with Wolves. Pedri, I think, is the bigger threat than Ansu Fati. Ansu Fati's very good. Pedri is on another level entirely.
But we haven't even seen Ansu Fati. Like, we just haven't seen him yet.
We saw him. We saw him a lot last year, and then coming off of that ACL injury, I think he needs some time to blend in.
He hasn't played in over a year.
Correct.
I'm just saying.
Which is why I think that Bayern takes the clash, even at the Camp Nou. Even though Barcelona refuses to sell away tickets to Bayern fans. Jerks.
Barcelona's a mess right now. So ultimately, what if Barcelona got upset? They could get upset. They could come in third.
I think it's very
honestly
possible.
Could see it happening. I don't see the consistency. I mean, this is the first time in 22 years that we haven't seen a Barcelona without a Messi.
I think it's 19, but yeah, 18 or 19, yeah, 18 or 19 years that we've seen a Barcelona team without Messi. And let's be honest here, no matter who they signed in the offseason, no matter who they have on their bench to replace him, losing Messi, even at 33 years old, hurts bad. And just their debt that they're in, the players that they have to offload for pennies based on what they paid for them, the slashing of the wage bill, the stifling of players like Ricky Puig, like Miralem Pjanic, who I believe just went on loan to some weird Eastern European bloc team. That club is in shambles. Ronald Koeman is not the player/manager to take over that team. They just need a complete overhaul. They need to lean on La Masia like they did when they found Messi, like when they found all those players to have that dominance for so long. Stop going for these Galacticos. The Galacticos didn't work for Real Madrid, as you can see now with Real Madrid kind of being in dire straits. Didn't work for AC Milan. It's not going to work for Barcelona. They're in too much debt. They need to just get on with it. Aguero, even though he was free, was too expensive a signing. I think he's going through a lawsuit to get his money because he signed a contract and said, Barcelona owe me this money. I don't know if he's even registered at this point. It sounds like Memphis Depay is registered. But I mean, the last time with Messi, Bayern beat Barcelona on aggregate 8-2. So I don't see them coming anywhere close, especially with Bayern's new coach, who is a tactical mastermind who I think is going to find a lot of success in Europe. Maybe not the Champions League this year, but I'd say 2 or 3 years, Bayern first. And you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say that Barcelona flopped this year. No, I'm not. I'm going to say Barcelona's in second, Benfica's third, and Kiev's fourth.
They have too much talent. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how way you slice it, what the front office looks like, or what the president's doing, coach is doing. They just have too much talent to flop too much. I think there is a small margin that is bigger than any other year we've seen that I've been alive, because 19 years of my life is a lot. They could go to third. I could
very well see them in the Europa League. I don't think they lose the group, but I could see Kiev maybe taking some points off of them at home. I could see Benfica taking some points off of them at home. And if Bayern take points off of them away, then they're in some serious trouble.
Let's move on to Group F.
Let's do it.
We got
Group F.
We got 3 more to go.
Yes, we have F, G, and H. Group F is also a very unique group. You may hear echoes of this from last year. We have Villarreal, the winners of the Europa League, Manchester United, runners-up of the Europa League, losers to Villarreal, I believe, on the David De Gea penalty kick, which was easily saved. It went all the way down, all the way through, all 11 players, and David De Gea was the only one to have his penalty kick saved. Atalanta from Serie A, and BSC Young Boys, home of the one, the only, the soon-to-be starting U.S. men's national team striker if DK doesn't get healthy and Josh Sargent doesn't get his shit together, Jordan Pefok. DK's playing. That's my hope too. But let's get off the U.S. men's national team because as much as I would love to talk about them, we'll have a video about them coming up talking about our World Cup qualifiers.
After tonight's
game.
game.
Stay tuned. After tonight's game. So we're filming on the last World Cup qualifier. Greg Berhalter, you got some questions to answer to, sir.
John, who's winning the stage? I just want who's winning the stage. Who do you think?
Group F, Manchester United. The additions of Varane and Sancho, as well as Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo has Champions League in his blood. Whether you want to say it or not, he lives, breathes, sleeps, eats Champions League football.
Soccer. Soccer.
Football.
Soccer.
That man
Everything.
has aged like the finest of wines. He is a machine. He literally takes care of his body like Fort Knox takes care of gold. You know, he protects it. He feeds it. He makes sure that it's in top physical condition. The dude's like 37 years old. I mean, how can he still be performing and winning golden boots? Romelu Lukaku, for as well as he did last year at Inter Milan, Cristiano Ronaldo still beat him to the golden boot in Serie A. So I could see him even beating Harry Kane at 37 years old at Manchester United. So I'm eager to see him. I think that Manchester United takes this group.
For 2, I think Villarreal comes in second.
That's a tough call. I think it's pretty even with Atalanta and Villarreal. Atalanta always kind of overperform what they're expected to do. Villarreal doesn't look like they have it there in La Liga this year, but Unai Emery seems to know what he's doing in Europe. Like, somehow he always just seems to come away with results. If you're going Villarreal at 2, I'm going to go Atalanta at 2, just to be different.
And then I have Atalanta at 3rd, and I have Young Boys coming out in 4th, which is unfortunate because I love repping my U.S. men's national team boys. I just don't think they have the power to overtake those 3. Those 3 are pretty set in stone in my mind, especially in Group F. I mean, you've got the winner and the runner-up, and then you've got Atlanta that's already been in the Champions League.
And then the Young Boys, their manager that took them to another Swiss League title last year, Gerard Serouan, moved to Bayer Leverkusen, and now American David Wagner, the former coach of Schalke before they were relegated and went through 4 other coaches. David Wagner is now their coach. So interesting to see how he does at a Champions League contending club and not another club that is going bankrupt like Schalke, who are going to stay in the Bundesliga 2 for a long, long time. So let's move on to Group G, the second last group that we have here. Group G, yes, I think it's going to be a tough race for the top 3 teams, with one, I think, being the odd man out and going to fall out. What do you think, Andrew?
I think this is the closest group stage we'll have. In the realm of the talent is pretty much very similar. I'm going to go Salzburg first, Sevilla second, Lille third. Wolfsburg, I think, is going to fall out.
I am the opposite. I think Salzburg, this is like Salzburg's biggest chance to make it through the group stages, and I think they absolutely could. I think Sevilla finished first and Wolfsburg finished second. Wolfsburg currently sit atop of the Bundesliga with all 9 points. I believe Sevilla is tied for first with Real Madrid. I think Lille fall out. I think Lille losing their manager, losing Mike Maignan.
I think Wolfsburg's is off to a hot start. I just don't think they can hold it. I don't think they have enough depth.
Wolfsburg's midfield, which we talked about in our Bundesliga preview, yet another plug for that. You should go watch that. But I think it'll come down to Wolfsburg's midfield. If Wolfsburg's midfield are too tired because they only have 3, maybe 4 players who can play in that midfield effectively, and they do play a 4-3-3, but their midfield, if it doesn't show up to play, or somebody gets injured, or they have to rotate around, they're either going to lose places in the Bundesliga or they're going to lose places in the Champions League. If I were them, I would focus more on the Champions League and making it through the group stage just to get that financial incentive. I'm going to play it a little risky. I'm going to say Seville first, Salzburg second, Wolfsburg third, and Lille, I don't think, have the same quality as they did last year.
Now we should move on to my favorite group.
Group H. This is a big group with Champions League winner Chelsea, Juventus.
Enough said.
They're also joined by Malmö from Sweden and also Zenit St. Petersburg. Do I need to ask who's going to win this group?
Chelsea, all the way. No chance. Don't even have to think about it. I think with Lukaku's scoring raid right now, I could go on forever. Mason Mount is just a force to be reckoned with. Zilic is finding himself.
Yeah, and if he gets back from his shoulder injury, he could definitely have big playing. You know, we got to talk about our boy Chris too.
I think this year is going to be a great year for him. He has tons of potential. He hasn't had, knock on wood, He hasn't had any injuries. He's coming into camp healthy. He got to do preseason. He's playing with the men's national team right now. He's about to go back, I think, and really rip it up. I'd love to see him break the starting lineup. It's going to be hard, but I have faith in him. Also, our boy Havertz, he is just scoring right now. I mean, if you put the goals that they're putting up for their international teams.
Well, Havertz missed a goal today with a 1v1 against the keeper. Sometimes it happens. He tried to go near post.
He scored last game.
He did, yeah. And he's also the Champions League goal scorer for the final last year. So you can't count him out because he can play under pressure. He really works well in that formation setup that Chelsea does. I think it's a 3-4-2-1 where he is like a right attacking midfielder or like a right forward that's kind of pushed inside more, so he's not a winger, but he still plays on the right side and has a little bit of freedom to roam around. I think that group is kind of open and shut with Chelsea first, Juve second, Zenit third, and Malmo fourth.
I could agree. I think Malmo and Zenit could kind of rotate just depending on who gets lucky on winning an away game. But ultimately, I don't think there's a chance for them to touch Chelsea or Juventus.
So give me your top 4 teams that you think are going to make the semifinal.
I'm going to go PSG. I have to go PSG. My boy Messi. I have to. Atletico Madrid. I can't ever pick Liverpool, guys. It's just not in my blood. Dortmund. I'm kidding. Bayern. Of course, I had to. I just had to play you a little bit. I had to play you a little bit. And Chelsea. I think those 4 are going to go to the semifinal.
Before I give you my pick, I'm going to read off 538's prediction to win the final. So they have Manchester City at first, Bayern Munich at second, Chelsea at third, Liverpool fourth, Barcelona 5, Real Madrid 6, Ajax 7, Man United 8, PSG 9, RB Leipzig 10, Dortmund 11, Atletico Madrid 12, Inter Milan 13, Sevilla 14, and Juve 15. I could go on for all of them. We all know that Sheriff is down at the bottom. Unfortunately for the new guys, you just ain't really got a shot. Sorry. My top 4, I think Bayern are going to win it this year. I think we have the quality and the manager to win it this year. Do I think we will win it? Probably not. I think we'll get pretty damn close, though. Manchester City, I have to say, make it. Chelsea, obviously. They were Champions League winners last year, and they only improved their lineup from last year. Their real weak point was at striker. They didn't have anybody who scored more than like 5 or 6 goals last season, and they needed somebody up front to really... I think Romelu Lukaku's just got so much quality, and adding him into that Chelsea lineup, which is already extremely strong, you can't count Chelsea out. So that's my top 3. Who do I go with as number 4?
I went Atletico Madrid. I just feel like the add of Griezmann adds so much creativity to that group, and Suarez just, he doesn't stop scoring. I feel like he gets
such
overlooked.
A boring team. If they play offense this year,
boring.
They're so boring. But if they play offense this year, I'm going to say this. I'm going to make it a tie between 2 teams. I'm going to say Liverpool and PSG. I'm going to say if PSG can get their midfield linking up with their offense and have a solid back line in Europe, I think they make the top 4. I think if Van Dijk and Robertson and Joe Gomez can all stay healthy on the back line, and Liverpool can integrate in Konate and some other players like Harvey Elliott who really gets off firing, I think they could very well make the top 4 as well. So that's our top 4. You know who we think is going to win it. Andrew obviously thinks Chelsea's going to win it. I think Chelsea could win it. I want Bayern to win it. What do you guys think? Let us know down below. Please comment, like, subscribe. Who is going to win the Champions League? Who are the winners going to be in each groups? Who's an underdog that you think we need to watch out for and you think we underrated this video? Let us know in the comments below. Andrew, you got any plugs?
You got any questions? Let us know. Put it down below the video. We'd love to have some questions, answer different videos. Give us some input. What do you want to see from us? Could we give you more? Maybe we need to give you a little bit more sauce. Maybe we don't. I don't know. But like, follow, subscribe. My man John is the best you'll find in the business.
Thank you for that
compliment. I cannot wait for you all to see these videos that we got for you.
We got a ton in the pipeline, and I can't wait for you guys to see Andrew actually out there in a true club shirt playing football. It's coming, guys. You heard it here first. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for our awesome outro that we worked so hard on. Not really. I just hired somebody else to do it. But stay tuned for that awesome outro after this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for listening. We are Football by the Numbers.